Hey everyone, this is Akash and welcome to Pyspark Learning Hub. Today we are diving into a Pyspark problem, but not just any problem, but the one that will challenge your thinking and sharpen your skills. And in this video, I will walk you through my approach step by step so that you can learn, practice, and grow. So let us see today's problem statement. So, what we have is not boring movies. So, X City opened a new cinema. Many people would like to go to this cinema. The cinema also gives out a poster indicating the movie's rating and description. That means there is one city which has opened a new cinema theater and it also gives a poster indicating that movie's rating and description it will give. Now what we have to do is we have to write a Pyspark code to output movie with an odd number ID and a description that is not boring. Order the result by rating. So this is a big question. So let us break the big question into smaller things. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to write a PySpark code to output the movie with an odd number. So firstly identify the movies which has odd number ID. This is the first task. And it should not contain the description as not it should not contain the description as boring. It should not be boring. So we have a description column. It should not contain any boring, correct? And order the result by rating. That means we have to order the result by rating. So this is what we have the problem statement. I think we got almost 60 to 70% of problem statement. To get 100% problem statement, it is always recommended to see one example. How does the input is looking and what is the expected output? I've already created the schema and data frame. So what you can do is you can visit this GitHub repository and you can download this particular not boring movie, which is 39 not boring movie, and import that in your Databricks notebook edition, community edition, so that don't waste on you don't waste your time on writing the schema and data. You can directly reuse this thing. That is the reason I'm creating all this thing so that you can save some time and work on solution implementation. Correct. So let us see the step two, which is input and expected output. So if you see here, we do have a data frame which is movie data frame where we have ID, movie, description and rating. Now what we have to do as a first step is we have to identify only odd number of ID, correct? Odd number ID we have to find out. So apply a filter. This is short and simple. And description should not be boring. That means if you see the output should be 135 and if you see for 3 the description is boring. That means 1 and 5 should be the output. And in 1 and 5 also the highest rating should come upside. So 5 1 because rating we have to order it by. Correct? So this is how the input looking and this is how the expected output is looking. Correct? I hope you are clear about the step 1 and step 2. Now before I start step 3, I want you all to pause this video and try to solve it. If you did not get the solution also it is fine, but it is important to give a try. Remember, practice is the only way to learn PySpark. So let us see how we can solve this thing. There can be multiple approach. Let us see what all approach I get. Correct. So df dot show. Let us see the first output. I always start with seeing the output so that I can copy the column. It is very easy, right? So what we have to do is firstly find out odd number. So we to figure out odd number we can do mod of 2 and we can filter it out, right? So what we can do is let us filter it out. We know how to do the filter. Dot filter we have to apply, and on what column we have to apply? We have to apply on id column. So let me take the id column id. What computation we have to do? Percentage mod 2, correct, should be equal to 1, correct. If it is 1, then it is a odd number, correct? When you divide a number by 2, if the remainder is 1, then it's a odd number, right? Simple maths. So let us see whether we are getting 135 as the output or not. There you go. See, we are getting 135 as the output. Now, next filter or criteria what we have to apply is, we have to apply description should not be boring. Okay, let us try to apply in this same filter criteria. Okay, and we can use, right? When you use and, what you have to do is you have to enclose that into a bracket, correct? See, this should be first condition, this should be second condition, right? So what we have to do is we have to apply the description should not be boring. So what we can do is, column description should not be, not be is something like this, equal to is like this, not equal to something like this we write, right? Basic programming. It should not be boring, right? So we can apply this thing. Let us see whether it will giving as expected or not. See, it should not contain. Now there is a bit ambiguity here saying that whether it should only should not contain boring or whole description, right? It there is a ambiguity, right? So if that scenario also comes in, we can write it, but currently that is what the expected output, right? So we can write like this. Okay, there can be multiple way, but for this particular scenario we are getting the expected output when we apply this kind of a logic, right? So once this is done, now we know highest rating should come up, right? So how do you do that? Yes, this is very easy. There you go. See, ordered by we will apply. Ordered by what column? Rating, right? When you apply by rating, by default it is in ascending order. How do we apply descending? Dot DESC we use it. Correct? Let us see the expected output. There you go. If you see here, 5, 1, we have achieved the expected output. So this is how we solve any problem in Pyspark. This is using data frame API. Let us see how do we solve this particular thing in spark.sql also. Okay, because in interviews they usually ask either use spark.sql, they can ask anything, or they can ask data frame API also. Let us try to solve using spark.sql. To solve it as a spark.sql, firstly you need to register it as a view, right? So what we can do is create or replace temp view, we will use it, and register the data frame as a movie, correct? Let us register it as a movie and execute this. How do we write the spark.sql query? So something like this, correct? Three code. Now we can write a query here. What we can write? Select star from movie. Dot show we have to do. Let me do that. See, we have the input now. How do we apply this thing? The same logic, let us try it. Same logically it is same, right? We have to apply filter criteria here first, right? So what we can do is, where in SQL it is easy, where you can write I, id mod 2 should be equal to 1, correct? And logical and we can use, correct? Let me first see whether this is as expected or not. Yeah, it is working. And what we have to write is and description, right? Let me, description should not be equal to boring, right? Let me copy it, save some time, correct? Boring also done. There you go. Now order by rating. Ordered by rating, right? Let me copy it here. Order by rating, DESC we have to apply. See, in SQL it is very easy. Now, this problem is also easy, isn't it? Right? When we see the problem statement, it is very big, but when it comes to solution, it looks very easy and simple, right? So that is what the magic of PySpark and SQL. That is what the magic of data engineering, right? So this is how we have to solve any PySpark problem. I hope you are enjoying this series and playlist. Now I want to hear from you also. How did you solve it? Drop your approach in the comment below. Let's make this as a discussion. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who is also learning PySpark. If you and if you want more challenges like this, you can subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty of more coming up in your way. I've also given the link here in the same notebook. And if for more practice, right? If you want more such a DBC notebook, what you can do is you can go to my GitHub repository where I've shared tons of problem, PySpark problem and other problem. You can give it a check on easy, medium, and hard level. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding. Thank you.